We've all been there before, waiting in the doctor's office, sweat literally dripping down your face, and you're panicking because in just a few minutes, you know the doctor will walk in and stab you with a needle that causes your arm to ache in excruciating pain for hours. Sure, you know it's for your own good, and it'll protect you against whatever the world throws at you, but you can't help but wonder why it has to hurt so much. Why can't the needle be gentler or even unnoticeable? Why can't it be quick and pain-free? Like like a mosquito bite.
When was the last time you even felt a mosquito bite you? And I mean, truly felt their needle insert itself into your skin? My guess is that most of you are going to say never. But why is that? What's so different between a mosquito's needle and our man made needles? This same question has baffled doctors and scientists for years. But now we finally have the answer. Mosquitoes don't have a needle, they have needles. That's right, instead of one singular spear, scientists have discovered that a mosquito's mouth, or proboscis, is actually made up of several thin needles. They are now trying to mimic the painless effect of a mosquito bite and apply it to needles, classifying these experiments under the biomimicry category. Now, biomimicry. It sounds like a complicated word, but is it really? Let's break it apart. There's bio, which means life, and mimicry, which means imitation. So what do you get when you put bio and mimicry together? Life imitation. Or, in proper English, imitating life, which is exactly what scientists mean when they talk about biomimicry. We know that the Earth was able to sustain itself and the life around us for many, many years before humans came along. And with all the talk of climate change and our increasing awareness of what our actions are doing to the planet, scientists and researchers have been trying to come up with different ways to change the way we live and keep our planet sustainable. So, they've turned to Mother Nature for a helping hand. By creating technology that imitates the way animals or plants do certain tasks, scientists hope to combine biology and technology to help us keep our planet thriving for years to come. This is what biomimicry is.
Okay, back to needles and mosquitoes. I think it's pretty clear why having less painful needles would be better for everyone. But how do mosquitoes do it? It all starts with their mouth, like we mentioned before. Unlike the solid, hard, and long stainless steel tubes that are used by doctors, a mosquito's mouth is actually pretty soft at the tip, and then it gets harder towards its head. So when the mosquito's mouth, or needle, is poking at your skin, you suffer less pain because of the softness from the tip. After finding a good place to pierce the skin, the mosquito then inserts a tube into your skin, a jagged tube to be specific. Then the saliva is released.
Hippo.
It sounds kinda gross, but the mosquito's saliva actually contains about 20 different types of proteins that help it act as a numbing agent and create an unnoticeable, painless bite. Then the mosquito vibrates the tube, which causes a sawing motion. Yep, you heard that right, a sawing motion. Okay, I know it kinda sounds like the mosquito is some kind of serial killer, but this actually makes the whole mosquito biting process less painful. How? Well, the jagged edge from the mouth makes minimal contact with the skin, and the pressure that the mosquito uses is just 1/3 of that needed to inject a man-made needle. The less contact made and the less pressure used, the less irritated the skin will be, and therefore the less pain reactions are released by the nerves in the skin. After all the sawing, the mosquito's mouth finally reaches our bloodstream, invading our personal space without us even realizing it. Now you're probably wondering how exactly researchers plan on making man-made needles do the same thing.
In 2002, a team of Japanese microengineers actually developed a needle that resembled a mosquito's. To replicate the mosquito's jagged tube, they carved silicon dioxide into jagged-shaped slices and bonded them together, creating a needle that was just 1 millimeter in length and 0.1 millimeter in diameter. Having trouble realizing just how small that is? Well, the average needle used for shots is usually around 0.5 millimeter in diameter, which is 5 times larger than the 0.1 millimeter needle that the microengineers created. So yeah, it was pretty small. They attached a small tank to the needle and pushed it into silicone rubber, a material similar to skin. This rubber contained red dye within it, and the tank filled with dye, which showed that the needle could in fact puncture skin. And although it did work as planned, the microengineers were still worried that a piece of the needle could break off inside the body because it was so brittle.
Several months later.
Now, 17 years later, researchers at Ohio State University have also been trying to imitate a mosquito's needle. Unlike the microengineering team in Japan, however, these researchers have taken a different approach to replicating the needle by focusing more on the numbing aspect of a mosquito's bite. Like we mentioned before, mosquito saliva contains proteins that help numb our skin and prevent us from feeling pain. The researchers think that if they combine two needles together, one could act as a numbing agent, while the other would be used to draw blood or inject the drug. However, due to the cost of the needle, they don't believe it would be accessible to everyone. Only young children or people who fear needles.
It's a Band-Aid.
So far, the scientists have not been able to create a proper prototype for their idea, but they are looking for funding to create and test their theory.
Needles are used in everyday life. Last year, there were over 80,000 deaths caused by colds and the flu. Yet despite the fact that many of these deaths could have been prevented, over 60% of Americans didn't get vaccinated. As well, any diabetes patient knows the struggle of administering insulin needles daily, and for some, even several times a day, which can be pretty discomforting. It's also been estimated that in the US, every 2 seconds, someone needs blood. Whether it's for surgeries, cancer treatments, or life-threatening injuries. However, the decision to save a life could be held back by one's fear of needles. By implementing the mosquito's pain-free proboscis into our everyday lives, it would improve everyone's overall health and wellness, be it mentally, physically, emotionally, and even environmentally.
From Yulon.
Not a doctor. Shh.